I'm not ashamed to say that my dad is my hero and that I wish to be the man he was, who put his family first, put his head down, worked through everything, and still hasn't gotten much in return apart from his family's happiness, which probably is more than enough for him. My dad comes from Poland. My whole family comes from Poland. I'm Polish. My dad grew up in a small town in Poland during the communist era of, like, the communist bloc. And he was raised by my grandmother and my granddad. Crazy, right? But during those times, things were scarce. Like, a lot of people were broke. So he was broke. He got hand-me-downs from his older brother. He didn't have much, and he was like a regular kid where he didn't like playing, he didn't like going to school or learning, but he enjoyed playing sports, football, and stuff like that. So his childhood was like a normal childhood in the communist era of Poland. Poor, but full of fire. Anyway, past that, past his whole like life, and skip around to 20 years ago, he came over to England to start a new life after a government change in Poland. Well, basically led for him to lose his job and he wasn't making enough money. So he decided to do something new. So he came over to England or the UK and started working as a kitchen porter. And throughout the 20 years, he's had about three diff like he's had not well he he worked multiple jobs. At most, he was working three jobs at a time just to put the bread on the table, just so I can have food to bring into lunch and to eat and whatnot. He was my hero. He wasn't home very much because he'd be doing shifts at work. And additionally, something I learned like recently, after those shifts, he'd normally go to the gym. Like, that is crazy, but he'd be working all the time. And for a lot of my life, I was basically without a father in a way because my father was at work providing for us. My mum worked too, but I think it's just the fact that my dad was scared that there wasn't going to be enough money. So he worked three jobs at one point for 10 or 13 years straight. He worked 7 days a week, and the only breaks he would typically get is when we went on holiday to Poland. My father is a very dedicated, very hardworking man, and I really respect that, and I can assume that a lot of people respect him as well. He is my hero, and I already know I won't be half the man he is because he's a man who can knuckle down to the job without complaining, without all this wishy-washy stuff, and just go in there. Even if he's had a shit day, he goes in the next day ready to attack it. He is my hero, and he will always be my hero. And if you have a dad, you just show him the appreciation because a lot of the time, they like fathers who work hard normally don't hear words of affirmation, don't normally hear, "Oh, I'm thankful for you. Thank you for everything you've done for me. I love you, Dad." Sometimes that's what keeps them going because they see that their hard work is paying off, and they don't do it for the money, they don't do it for status, they do it for their family's happiness, and that's their return on investment. So I'm not ashamed to say my dad is my hero, and you you should just say how much you love your dad because that's probably what they want to hear at the end of the day.